Thank you for joining me for Beyond Hyperdocs, Google Docs that engage learners.
Are you all
About
ready?
myself. Andy? Oh.
Okay.
A little bit about myself. My name is Tom Mulaney. I was part of Colorado 16. I see Melissa and I see Carlos.
There we go. Off you go.
Anybody else? Andy, do you hear me? Okay.
Sorry.
All good. I was part of, So, and if any of my coaches from Via 20 are here, I'm only seeing a handful of names. I don't have the whole list up, but thank you for joining me. I was a special education teacher, then social studies, and then went into instructional coaching, originally from New York. Most of my teaching was in Pennsylvania, and I'm here in Hillsborough, North Carolina, a wonderful small town right outside of Durham. And I like to say, watch out, Muncie, Indiana, because Hillsborough is on the grow. We're coming for you. But anyway, you'll have my contact information. Feel free to reach out afterwards. And so, we are doing Spark Camp Saturday today, right? And I'm sure a lot of us are going to leave this very inspired. And I want you to think back before the pandemic, when we would go to big events, whether it be ISTE or a tiny ed camp or something we did in our district, and we go and we get all inspired with the 4 C's and especially creativity, right? Everyone pumping that creativity message. Be creative. Teachers be creative. Students be creative. Be creative. And then a week later, you walk into any classroom in your building, and what do you see? Every kid is in a Google Doc. So we've had all this excitement about creativity and we're all word processing. Wow. And, I used to tell teachers that the best thing that could happen, all right, a lot of things could happen. That would be great. But one great thing that could happen would be, what if Google Docs was banned for teachers and students for 1 week? What would that do? How would that inspire creativity? And I used to tell people that. And then the pandemic happens. And now we need to be as conspicuous and as obvious and as clear and concise with our students as possible. So any theoretical discussion of, wouldn't banning Google Docs for creativity be great, goes right out the window. And Google Docs becomes essential. Right. And just real quick, we're going to play a real quick round of Jeopardy. And I see people dropping in their cohort in the chat. I want you, we're going to do a little final Jeopardy real quick. And so if you know the question, drop it in the chat. This is I played it out of order. This is the most used app in EdTech. What might it be? Okay, Jen Giffen. Oh, Sarah Roll beat you because Sarah Roll put it in the form of a question. Yes, I think the context clues kind of gave that away. But yes, Google Docs, and I've linked this in the slides that you'll get at the end. There's a study that came out that Google Docs is the very most used tool in all of EdTech. All right, so when we create Google Docs, I want us to focus on certain things, especially for students. One, students are inundated with content, right? Not every student, but most students, many students have these, or tablets, or whatever it may be. They're inundated with content. Black text on white pixels, even though that's what I'm using right this second, is just not the best way to engage students. Now, obviously we need it, but at the same time, if that's all we rely on, we're not going to engage our students. Engaging multiple modalities is valuable and necessary. Now, you may be thinking, because I love Google Classroom. Classroom, I think, is a wonderful tool. And you may think, well, maybe we can use Classroom to engage multiple modalities. And what I will say about that is, Classroom has a rich text editor. Let's be honest, it's pretty half-baked. You can't embed videos, or, video is going to pop up if it's in a post in Classroom. You can't hyperlink properly in that. So Classroom's not going to be the way we accomplish this. We're going to have to use docs, and think about all the docs that we always use with kids. So the platform's already there. You already have many docs ready to go, most teachers. Some other things we have to think about are the families and students need user-friendly, clear materials they can understand. Now, obviously students need this. And guardians need it too, because we now know guardians are getting roped into all of this. And we know they get roped in right when, oh, our grades are low, or the student doesn't understand, or there's some sort of problem or crisis. And the student and the guardians don't have the benefit of being in your class 5 days a week to have all the context. They need to be able to jump right in, see what's expected and how it's communicated, and understand that like that. And I also just ask this, can we please cut down on the tabs? We know our students, us, right now, how many tabs do I have open in this screen, right? We have so many tabs open at all times. What can we do about cutting that down? So I will ask you, please, when you use Google Docs, text, of course, but audio, video, and images as well. Now, I know what you're thinking. Images, yeah, we can do images in Google Docs. I'm not going to teach you how to do that. But audio and video, and what I will tell you is that our session today, we are going to use everything native in Docs except for one Chrome extension. I'm thinking a lot of you can figure out what that Chrome extension will be, especially looking at this slide. But okay. First thing is fonts. And I'm not going to demo this, but I think a lot of people here know that I think a lot of you know that Lexend fonts are in Google. I will preface this just by saying, if a student of yours uses Open Dyslexic, don't change things up. But Lexend fonts are wonderful because they're researched. They are spaced. Lexend Zeta, I like to say Lexend Zeta. Those characters are 6 pixels apart. They're social distancing. That joke might have worked better earlier in the pandemic, but you get my point. They're nice and spread out. So just use Lexend fonts as a default. I like Lexend Deca, but there's now even a plain Lexend that's even a little less Lexended than the other Lexend fonts. All right, let's talk about hyperlinking text. And I'm going to do something real quick. So I'll take our Spark Camp Saturday website, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste this into a French Revolution study guide I have now. And let me just set that to fit. And let's paste it. And let's hit enter. Now, never, ever, ever do this for your students. Everyone sees this hyperlink and then the eyes just glaze over. What is it? The good news is Docs is going to help you with this. If I click on this right now, oh, come on, really? Oh, typically it's been suggesting a title. Typically it does this. If, you know, for example, if I do canva.com on here, in fact, let me do that. It should suggest it. And let's hyperlink that. Let me just hyperlink it real quick. There we go. Now, again, don't even do that. I would say do Canva, but watch this. There. All right, maybe because it's not an actual URL. The point I'm trying to make, and I'm struggling to make it, is that you just want to use the actual word. You want hyperlink text, not URLs. URLs are really disengaging, and the screen reader reads it as HTTPS : we don't want that. So no good there. Okay. All right. Now, hyperlink checklists. So when you have long documents like a study guide where there are sections, I highly recommend make those sections, make them headings. Okay, please make them headings. And then give your kids a list of things that they can do in the doc. Give them some choice and they can check it off. Now, you all know checklist is now a thing in Docs. So we can make it a checklist. We get that strike through. But what if I want to hyperlink this? So not only is it a hyperlink checklist, but it goes to the actual section. Well, if I link this here, I get this headings and bookmarks. I hope you all see that, headings and bookmarks. And then I will see all of my headings in the doc. I click there and it takes me to that heading. It works for headings and bookmarks, but it doesn't work for titles for some reason. And so I need to, what I need to do for that is if I want to link to my title up here, I have to put a bookmark, and I did do the bookmark there. So just hyperlink checklists, take a look at that, something that you can take advantage of. From there, so let's talk about reducing tabs. And one way I reduce tabs is this. So let's say I take my slides here and I click share and I click copy link. And I go back in here, and again, I'm going to paste this hyperlink. And it's even already giving me a suggestion. I'm going to ignore that suggestion for a moment. One, never do this with your kids. And for now, I'll just make it a link. Okay. All right. And that was Google Docs doing what I wanted it to do. But did you know your kids can just click and then click open preview, and they can go through your slides right in the doc. They can actually make them a little bigger. They can go through, they see your speaker notes. Okay. They see all that good stuff, and they can edit the doc as they're going through their slides. So no need to worry about, opening another tab. Guess what? This works with docs as well. So if I click share and I click copy link, and I will do the exact same thing. And okay. And again, I will make this a link for now. We'll talk about chips in a minute. And I can open preview. And so I can read this doc. Think about when you want to send your kids to external websites in a Google Doc. Why not copy paste that website into another Google Doc? Cite it at the very top, right? Don't steal it, but cite it. And then they can read that text without leaving the base document. Okay. All right, let's keep going. All right, we have to add audio to docs. And I know I already heard we're talking about Moat. So select any text or image so you can have an image speak. And what I want you to do is you go to your Moat, you click up here, you just record. So this is me recording. We click done, that pastes it on your clipboard, and now I will hyperlink this. Now, the catch is that we need our students to have the Moat Chrome extension installed. So yes, students need to have it installed. Otherwise, it pops them into another tab to listen to that audio. So positives and negatives, but if it was up to me, I would give the student the Moat Chrome extension because they then get this. So this is me recording. I don't know if you all hear that, but they get to play it without leaving the Google Doc. So we've added other docs, we've added slides, we've added audio. What else can we add? Well, we can add video. So here's an old video. Last July, when it was still called G Suite, I did a little Google Innovator session. And I'll click copy, and we'll go here. And let's do that. And I'll click that, and I'll make it a link. And again, just like with slides and docs, guess what? Open preview. And I can watch myself. Hey, Jess, you want me to go right ahead? There we go. That's me on video in a Google Meet. Wow. I'm so good at that. Anyway, you get my point. Your kids can watch YouTube videos in their Google Docs. One last thing. Yes, not leaving the Google Doc is a very big reason to have students have the Moat extension installed. One last thing I'll show you, and that's smart chips. And we know that if we type the @ symbol, we can connect people, and we actually can use that @ symbol to actually insert things, titles, headings, images, things from docs, but we can also link calendar events and all sorts of things. But we can also link docs, right? We can link here. If I just use the sharing settings for my slides. So again, sharing URL in Google, not using the @ key this time. And again, I'll hit the paste. It's prompting me to make it a smart chip right there with that little tab, but forget that for a minute. We click here, and I can make it a chip or a link. If it's a link, it's the title. If it's a chip, it looks like that. Guess what? This works for YouTube videos as well. So again, I'll grab that, grab the YouTube URL, and I will paste it. Again, it's prompting me with the tab, but if I forget to do that, never fear. Just click on it, make it a chip. Now, what I love about this, remember I talked about being conspicuous? You can put some text that says, Google Innovator video and link that. You can do that. But what, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and seeing that YouTube icon, seeing that Google Slides icon, seeing that Docs icon, that tells your kids and their guardians what to expect when they click on that. That works for PDFs in your Drive. It works for Google Sheets. It works for drawings. Calendar events, there's a little calendar icon. Sites, you get this little random, not that great icon. Sad to say, right now, it doesn't work for forms. It doesn't work for Jamboard or My Maps or Earth projects. That's where I hope to see it go in the future. All right, with that, I'm coming in about on time, so maybe we can discuss a little bit more. Let me get us to our, I'm going to put the slides in the chat, and I'm going to, we can just chat. I have on slide 28, I have a little further reading for you and an example of something that uses this. Oh, one last thing. You know, we can do 360 videos this way, right? Like if we just search for anything, and I'll do solar system, forgot this bit, solar system, and we filter by 360. And what your kids can do is they can click and drag. Here, I have a minute. I'm going to do it. So love this crash course video. Not so much the ad, but if I click that sharing link and we go in here, we do the same thing. I'll actually click tab this time. And now I'll get that open preview. Let's make this nice and big. And once I go in here, I can now click around the solar system. I don't want that. Get rid of that, Google. But anyway, there you go. I can see the sun. Where's Earth at? There's there's Saturn. But your kids can click around a 360 video right in their Google Doc. All right, with that, let me get you the slides so you can share, use these slides. Thank you, Abid. There we go. So there's your slides. Again, my name is Tom Mullaney. You can tweet me at Tom E. Mullaney. You can email me, mrmullaney@gmail.com. And I'm happy to, I know we have a session coming up, but I'm happy to stick around. Join me later in hours, like 6 hours from now. I'm doing a session on Google Expeditions. If you have strong opinions about expeditions going away, you're going to want to join me for that session. Thank you. Oh, Stephanie. Yeah.